क्या उसने
तो
जो बनाया वो गलत है क्या?
उसने जो बनाया वो गलत नहीं है, बट उसने जो बनाया है वैसे अगर तुम स्कूल में बनाओगे तो सैडली अभी मार्क्स नहीं मिलेगा. सो व्हाट ही मेड वाज अ
वो
प्रोडक्शन
एक्सपेक्टेड।
लेवल, production level, what do you call this, ER diagram. But production level ER diagram means that you already know how ER diagrams work or what they mean. Okay, which is not what is generally expected for you to know. That's the issue. Okay, now just let me check the stream quality real fast. Uh, which is not what is generally expected for you to know. Okay, the audio quality is good. So that's the thing that I was always having issues with. So let's start. Uh, Now, ER diagram means entity relationship diagrams. Okay. And you will mainly find there are three main things. Oh, by the way, this is Geek for Geeks. Okay. Uh, the website used to contain very good content over lots of different computer science topics, but समय के साथ साथ पता नहीं क्या हो गया कि they started containing a lot of AI generated slop, if you know what I mean. Like इनके अंदर अभी अगर देखोगे तो बहुत सारे आर्टिकल्स है, इतने सारे आर्टिकल्स है, इतने सारे जो है ब्लॉग्स है, that they have a good content, but the newer blogs are containing stuff which are मतलब mediocre. At one point, Geek for Geeks used to contain a lot of helpful stuff, but now sadly they don't. अब क्या ही बोलूं मैं इसमें.
डाउनफॉल।
डाउनफॉल या. बट ये जो है ये आर्टिकल जब तुम देख रहे हो, ये लास्ट अपडेट है 23 जो लाइक जुलाई 2025. So this, even though has been updated recently, this whole blog has was written way back in 2025 or sorry 2015, मैं 2025 बोल रहा हूँ. And उसके बाद जो है probably they updated one or few things or something. Okay, very few little updates. Probably they updated these videos or something. I don't know what they updated, but this is mostly the same since my time when I'm seeing this. Okay. Probably I saw it in 2019, if I remember, like when I was reading all this. But since then it has been almost stagnant. So understand the things. So entities relationship model will have entities, attributes and relationship. बस जीवन में बस तीन ही चीज जो है इसको चाहिए. एक है कि जो वस्तुएं हैं उन वस्तुओं का जो है कुछ विश्लेषण करना है, और उन वस्तुओं के बीच में कुछ जो है क्या बोले क्या कहते हैं, रिलेशनशिप का हिंदी क्या होता है, संपर्क होना चाहिए. ठीक है, तो वस्तुएं, उनके कुछ विश्लेषण और वस्तुओं के बीच में कुछ संपर्क. ठीक है, बहुत ज्यादा हिंदी हो गया.
স্যার ইংলিশে বলো, হিন্দিতে বাজে বাজে আছে।
Okay. So basically there will be entities or objects. There each and every object will have some kind of adjective or an attribute, and between objects there will exist some form of relationship. Okay. Now the entities can be of two types: strong entity and weak entity. And then you will find that attributes will have also different types, and relationship is very simple, right? You have gone through your what they call this set theory classes, and in your set theory classes you will find that relationships can be one to one, one to many, many to one, many to many. Suppose there are good people, there are innocent people. So there are going to be like very innocent people who will pledge that they are going to stay together and they are only made for each other. So monogamous relationship are one to one relationship. One to many be like sometimes females or males of this society, current society, they like to experience more. So one of that partner might have multiple relationship, or multiple people might have relationship with one person, and multiple people might have relationship with many people. Okay, so this is like quite intuitive, I believe at this.
पब्लिक
Now the
हॉटस्पॉट।
huh, which one?
पब्लिक हॉटस्पॉट।
क्या बोल रहे हो?
I just said public hotspot.
Public hotspot. Okay, yeah, public hotspot is actually broadcasting. If you And for Niket, I think you remember broadcasting, multicasting, right? So public hotspot creates a local network where multiple people, many people connect to a single router, or let's say a single device, which provides the internet. Okay. Now the point is, what are these? Like, how do you represent these stuff? The way of representing all of this basically through figures. Now these are very similar to how flowcharts work. Okay, you will have rectangle that represents entities, you will have ellipse that represents the attributes, diamonds for relationship, line for joining between like two entities, two relationship, or like all this. Oh, by the way, you remember that in flowchart we always had this arrow, like, you remember, right? Flowchart.
हाँ हाँ
If I just go and see a few examples of flowchart, you will see that there is mandatory that you should put some arrows that shows the direction of the flow of the logic. But remember that a database doesn't contain any logic. It contains structure or an assembly of data in a structured manner. So because of this structure, there is no flow of data, or there is no flow of logic. That's it. So that's why you will have lines, not arrows. You will have double ellipses, and then you will have double rectangle, which weak entity, and here I'm coming to that. Okay. Now, remember that there is one more concept which is an entity set. Here, see, entity set. Okay. Now, you can represent a single entity, which is a very simple way, like just have the student, or just have some apples, mangoes, bananas, whatever be it, inside a box. That's it. You are done. Okay. But then you can have multiple objects in an entity set. So a good example would be, suppose you have a basket of fruits. So a basket of fruits may contain apples, oranges, grapes, bananas, mangoes, whatever. Now those are objects, or those are fruits, but they are contained in a basket. So entity set represents that basket containing multiple fruits. So these are objects or entities of having some similar attribute. Like suppose there are student 1, student 2, student 3. They form a group to, let's say, submit a group project. So they will form an entity set. Now understand that there is a difference between strong entity and a weak entity. Now, just understand what is a weak entity, because strong entity is something which we are very much familiar with, because whenever we write entity, we mean that we are pointing towards a strong entity, means that you can uniquely identify each and every instance of it. But suppose there is a weak entity, that means it cannot be uniquely identified by its own attributes alone. It depends on a strong entity to be identified. A weak entity is associated with an identifying entity or a strong entity. Okay, this is more than enough. So, and good example would be, a company may store the information of dependents like parents, children, spouses of an employee. But like all these parents, children, or relatives of an employee, they are not the employee of the company, right? They are not linked to the company directly. They are not working for the company. That means they depend on the person or the main bread earner who is a part of the company or the department to have their relationships defined. Suppose a example that I'm going to give is, it's relevant for me or anyone who wants to go out for a PhD outside India. So you know that there are visas that you get. You can get student visa, you can get work visa, and there is something called dependent visa. Oh, sorry for the spelling, dependent visa. Okay, now what is a dependent visa? They are like, suppose you work for company, suppose you get a job at Google. So now you have to move to, let's say, California, or maybe you got it somewhere in Texas or somewhere in Europe. So there, as you need to get a job there, you have to relocate. Okay, because you need to relocate, uh, you can also take your spouse, you can also take your father, mother, and other relatives. Okay. Now, as you can take them back to your to the new country, they also need to apply for visa, but they are not going to be identified because they are not the person who will be working. It is you who will be working for the company, and in turn that they are going to get their visas. So that's why your father, mother, spouse need to apply for a dependent visa, which will be linked to your own visa, your work visa. Okay. So is that understandable? Fine. So these are weak entities and strong entities. Okay, Niket, can you tell me what I just said briefly? Are you there?
কি বললে
Dependent entity. Yeah. Very able to understand.
হুম
Okay,
লাইক আমি
fine.
হচ্ছে ডাইরেক্ট
Yeah.
স্কুলের হচ্ছে আমি স্ট্রং এন্টিটি আমার আন্ডারে গার্ডিয়ান ফার্জিয়ান যারা তারা সব ডিপেন্ডেন্ট আমার উপর
Yes, correct.
এন্টিটি মানে বেসিক্যালি
Yeah, they are weak entities. Correct, correct. So now let's continue with the attributes. The main point of attributes is to have defining adjectives to an object. So suppose I say that, how can I say it? Let's say you are a good boy. Okay, suppose I say Niket is a good boy. Now, good defines this boy. Okay, it is an attribute that he is good, or let's say he is a boy. These are attributes. Okay. Now the point is these needs to be attached to that main person or the main entity that we are talking about. Okay. So that's why we have this key attribute. Okay. And how do you define a key attribute? You just underline it to show that it is important. Fine. Fair enough. कोई चिंता है? नहीं है. Okay. Then there is this composite attribute. Composite attribute means when many attributes are connected to one attribute. See address. Address can have multiple sections to define it. An address needs a street, an address needs a city, an address needs a state, an address needs a country. So all these attributes compose together to make a final attribute, which is an address. Do you get it? कोई दिक्कत है, कुछ प्रॉब्लम है तो बोल सकते हो. Is it clear? चलेगा?
Address
It's fine.
and attribute.
Address is the main attribute. Okay. Address is the main attribute.
Okay.
And see, these are actually sub attributes, or let's say these attributes like street, city, state, country, they compose together, they come together to define this one attribute, which is address. Okay. Get it? Any issues? Hopefully not. Now there is this multi-valued attribute, an attribute consisting of more than one value for a given entity. For example, phone number. So phone number like can be more than one for a given student. Like suppose this is a phone number. Okay, this phone number suppose a student may have two phone numbers, or it may he or she may have three phone numbers. Someone who is too much rich, someone who has like three phones, or someone who has a phone with dual SIM. So they will have two numbers, right? Do you get it? Is this understandable?
Yeah.
Okay.
বলো
So basically, suppose you have two phone numbers, you may have two email addresses. Okay, like suppose I give you my example. So I just go to my Gmail. Probably not a good thing to show, but you will see that I have many accounts. Okay, so because I have many accounts, these, like suppose I say email address, or let's say Google account. then I will have multiple Google accounts. So these are the same attribute, but I have it multiple number of times. So that's why these are called multi-valued attribute. Okay. Next we have derived attribute. So derived attributes are like one, it is similar to dependent attribute or that, but it is an attribute that can be calculated or computed from another attribute. They have given the best example, which is date of birth. Suppose you give your date of birth, then your age can be calculated on your date of birth. That's why this is called a derived attribute. Okay, and see the symbol that we use the dotted ellipse to show that it is a derived attribute. Now, finally, we can see a person like a student can have a composite attribute, which is address.
স্যার
Yeah.
আমি যদি ধরো স্যার
Hmm.
স্যার
বল।
আমি যদি পরীক্ষায় যদি কোনো চক্রে যদি ডটেড বা রোল নাম্বারের তলে আমি যদি আন্ডারলাইন দিয়ে যদি ভুলে যাই মার্কস
Mhm.
যাবে
Yes, correct. You are going to lose your marks heavily. Basically, your whole diagram would be false then. Yeah. Now see, there are different types of attributes here. A student can have a composite attribute, which is an address. An address contains of country, state, city, street, and all this thing. A student can have multiple attributes like roll number, which would define or uniquely identify a student, like student ID or roll number. That's why it is underlined and it is the primary key or the primary attribute. He or she may have a name. So these are normal attributes, date of birth and age. So age can be derived from the date of birth. So it is a derived attribute. That's why it is dotted. And phone number, a student may have more than one phone number. That's why he or she can have like multiple phone numbers. Okay. So multi-valued attribute. Now we have completed the attribute part. Next thing that we need to cover is relationship type and relationship set. So you see that a student enrolled in a course, you will see that student is an object, course is an object, but this thing, object or, okay, by the way, whenever I am saying object, it basically means entity. I might be using this term object and entity interchangeably, so please don't mind that. Now, a student may be enrolled in a course. So this enrolled shows the relationship between the student and a course. Remember, it can't be opposite way. A course cannot enroll in a student. That would be very weird, right? A course enrolling in a student, that is not possible. Or linguistically it is possible, but like real life, physically or literally, it doesn't make any sense. So it is always, see, a student enrolled in a course. Then you might ask, so why are we not putting up arrows here so that to show the clear dependence or the clear flow of logic? But we generally don't do, because these are generally written in clear English format to have that association of logic ingrained into it. So that's fine. Next, you will see that the relationship, like just like a entity set, there can be a set of relationships, and these are called relationship sets. So the following sets depicts, S1 as enrolled in C2, S2 as enrolled in C1, and S3 as registered in C3. So you can see that okay, by the way, what could be this S1, S2, and S3? Common logic would be to give an attribution of this S1, S2, and S3 to students. So student 1, student 2, student 3 are enrolled in class 2, class 1, and class 3. See this S1 of like like E1, then it is related to C2, then S2 to C1, and S3 to C3. Okay. Now this is
C2 এগুলো কি টাইপের, কি সেট, এটা কি অ্যাট্রিবিউট হতে পারে? এক্সাম্পল
just imagine this as some classes, class 1, class 2, and class 3. Okay, these are
না
like
S1 টা ধরো না স্টুডেন্ট, E1 টা হচ্ছে ক্লাস, আর C1 C2 টা কি হতে পারে?
C1 time bola na, C1, C2 consider them as classes. Okay, now that S1
আর E1 E2
like
E3 টা
is enrolled in, S1 is enrolled in class 2, student 1 is enrolled in
Okay,
class
ঠিক
2.
আছে।
Student 2 is enrolled in class 1. Student 3
ঠিক আছে,
is
ঠিক আছে।
enrolled in class 3. Okay? Clear? Let's
হ্যাঁ।
continue. Now, after that, we have a degree of a relationship set. So, what do we mean by degree? I think I taught this in the last class, like to you, Somajit and Angs. Do you remember what degrees I taught you? Degree of an operator. Somajit, do you remember that?
याद नहीं आ रहा, याद नहीं आ रहा।
याद नहीं आ रहा? अंश, कुछ याद है?
नहीं याद आ रहा भैया।
अपना कॉपी तो कभी खोल लिया करो भाई। तेरे कॉपी के साइड, मतलब उस पेज के साइड में लिखा हुआ है कि अगर प्लस है, ठीक है, एडिशन ऑपरेटर इज लाइक अ व्हाट काइंड ऑफ ऑपरेटर? यूनरी, बाइनरी, टर्नरी, क्वाटरनरी, क्विंटरनरी, रिमेंबर कुछ? प्लस किस टाइप का ऑपरेटर है?
बाइनरी।
बाइनरी, वेरी गुड। और
প্লাস ইউনারি অপারেটর না? ইউনারি অপারেটর না? প্লাস
no, why? Okay, plus requires how many operands? Niket, plus requires how many operands?
হ্যাঁ, হ্যাঁ, দুটো 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 ঠিক 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 ঠিক।
Okay, plus plus, C plus plus, A plus plus, B plus plus,
এটা 1 ইউনারি অপারেটর এটা।
unary operator. Good. Ternary operator would be that question mark colon. I think it is a C type of representation where you have a operator that needs
এটা কিছু
three.
পাইথনে নেই। এরকম কিছু পাইথনে নেই।
Yeah, no, Python has its equivalent, but let's not get into that part. But you need to understand that operation is being applied on how many objects, that defines its degree. Just like that, a relation being applied on how many entities gives you the degree of that relationship. Suppose a good example would be a person is married to a person. Okay, like you can only be married to a person. You could not be married to an object or some random being which is not a Homo sapien. Hopefully, I'm correct. If the world hasn't changed, if America hasn't introduced some different form of relationship of marriages,
I was
then
मैं
yeah,
बोलने वाला
yeah.
था वो,
क्या?
मैं वो बोलने वाला था।
हाँ,
ये
वही।
करवाने।
अगर अमेरिका ने कुछ नहीं किया है तो फिर होमोसेपियन कैन ओनली बी मैरिड टू another Homo sapien, and both of them are of the same object criteria, that they needs to be human, unless and until something new has been invented in this whole world. So then
It's
there is
already
this
invented.
binary. Binary is like a student enrolled in a course. Student has a ID card, just like that. These are binary relationships. Ternary relationship would be when you have connections with three objects or three entities. Okay, suppose like I'm giving you an example. So of my example, say I am a student. A student can work in project 1 and also course 1. So a student can work in a project as well as a course. That will be a ternary relationship. So n-nary relationship would be like where there are n entities participating in a relationship. Okay, like you could have a student as well as a teacher or as well as a professor. They can work on a project, on a paper, on a course, or all this stuff. Okay, so there are multiple relationships there. Then there is cardinality in a entity relationship model. What do we mean by cardinality? It basically means the maximum number of times an entity of an entity set participates in a relationship set. Does that mean anything to you? Just remember that there exists one-to-one relationship, many-to-one relationship, and all this thing. Okay. So it is basically a surgeon.
একটা জিনিস বলো,
Yeah.
এই
What?
প্রত্যেকটা ডেফিনেশন মুখস্থ করতে হবে।
Do you think that do you need to remember all these definitions? These are like basically
Obviously,
simple
remember.
logic,
Alright,
like
তো হ্যাঁ তো আমাকে তো
It is
লজিকটা মাথায় রাখতে হবে।
one-to-one relationship. You have done set theory. In your set theory, you have done it multiple times. There will be one-to-one relationship, many-to-one relationship, and all this, right? It is basically
আরে
that
সেট
same
থিওরি তো
thing.
আর লিখতে
It
আমাকে
is
হয়নি, গুছিয়ে
no.
লিখতে হবে এখানে আবার।
You can. It is very simple to write. Now there are multiple entities. Suppose they one to many. So one entity is connected to multiple entities. That's it. That's where the definition ends and it's done. Done and dusted. That much only you need to write. And you need to give an example of it. Okay. Suppose a surgeon headed by a HOD or like a professor is headed by a HOD or like a class, a teacher headed by a class teacher. So something like that. Okay. Now there is this one-to-many relationship. Like a surgeon, the department, like suppose there is a department of chemistry, department of physics, has teachers or professors or researchers. Okay. So a department can have multiple people working under them. Then there is another example which is many to one. So there are multiple people working under one department. Just the opposite way. Okay. Then there is this many to many. So employees can work on multiple projects. Just like there are multiple students can take up multiple courses. So is that understandable?
हाँ भैया,
चलेगा? ठीक तो तुम
हाँ
लोगों को ऑनलाइन क्लास में प्रॉब्लम होता है? तुम बोलो सही से।
थोड़ा बहुत होता है, लेकिन हाँ अभी समझ आ रहा है।
अच्छा क्लियर। अंश कुछ नहीं बोल रहा भाई, तुझको प्रॉब्लम हो रहा है क्या?
थोड़ा बहुत हो रहा
थोड़ा बहुत? अच्छा बोलो क्या प्रॉब्लम हो रहा है, हम सुनते हैं।
है, थोड़ा बहुत समझने में बस हो रहा है।
अच्छा क्या समझ में नहीं आ रहा? व्हाट इज द इशू? Any problem while understanding this many to many or this one to many to one relationships? Are you facing any problem in these?
नहीं इस पे नहीं है, अभी नहीं आ रहा मुझे।
Okay, whenever you are facing any problem or you are having issues with understanding, just let me know, so we can continue, right? There is this participation constraint. So do you remember that there is something called domain constraint in a database or in a table? Domain constraint. So a domain constraint, a good example would be, see a banker. Okay, a banker does not know that say he or she is a very foolish banker, and I give him or her my passbook and I tell him or her to update it, and during updation he asked me what is my account number, and I'm giving my account number verbally. So during my during the process of me narrating my account number, instead of writing it in, let's say 1 2 3 4 5 6, like suppose wait, let me show you. Suppose instead of writing say 1 2 3 4 5 6 something like this, he is writing something like ONE1, then
Alphabetic.
TWO2, THRW3. Okay, so then this need not to be accepted. This must not be accepted, right? The only way of entering an account number should be two numerical digits. It should be integers. But now the person or that account banker is giving me the answer or is inputting the values in 1 2 3. That's in like alphabetical number. So this is domain constraint. And yeah, huh? Give 1 hour. Okay, so this is understandable, right? Now next, what do we have? Yeah, participation constraint. Oh, by the way, remember in your CBSE exam, this domain constraint will be asked, almost guaranteed with 99% that it will be asked. So please remember the definition of domain constraint. Okay. Next, we have participation constraint. So there is this total participation and there is this partial participation. Remember, each entity in the entity set must participate in the relationship fully. The entity in the entity set may or may not participate in a relationship. This is the partial participation. let's see this example for it. Okay, this is a student, this is a many to many relationship. Oh, by the way, many to many, m to n. Okay, you get it, right? So remember, you should not be writing m to like n to n. N to n means that the now, yeah.
M to N কি বললে আরেকবার বলো, M আর N টা আরেকবার বলো।
Oh, basically, I'm saying that you should not be writing n for Nagpur to Nagpur means two n's, because that basically means that the number of relationship on either side is equal. You should be writing m for mango to Nagpur. Okay.
কি ডিনোট করছে, মানে নাম্বার অফ রিলেশন কটা আছে এর মধ্যে?
Yes.
ওকে। আর এখানে ডাবল লাইন কেন আছে বলতো? ডাবল লাইন বলতে কোনো এই ছিল না, সিঙ্গেল লাইনই তো শুরু ছিল।
No, double line was there. Do you forget? Oh man.
ডাবল এলিপস
Yes.
ছিল, ডাবল রেক্ট্যাঙ্গেল ছিল।
This thing, unary or relationship.
ও আচ্ছা আচ্ছা, ঠিক 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 আছে।
So what do we have here? We have a unary relationship. Okay, a student be enrolled in a course. Okay, so now what do we have? Oh, sorry. What I'm saying this. Sorry. I misspelled it. I misspelled it. That was for unary. That is different. Okay, so you said a double line, right? So double line, you will see that there are two different methods of putting the double line. You will see that when the double lines are very much close to each other, then it basically means that this is a total participation. Okay, see, this total participation is shown by a double line. This is the total participation, and this is the single participation. Okay, it's not single participation, partial participation. Okay, and when the double lines are spaced apart, means there is a gap between them, like in this one, yeah, this one. So it basically means that this is a unary relationship. Okay, a person can only be married to a person. That kind of thing will happen. But here, this is m. Here you will see that this is double line. This means a total participation. Okay, fine. And after that,
টোটাল
what?
পার্টিসিপেশন থাকে ডান দিকে একটা, এই সিঙ্গেল লাইনটা এটা তো টোটাল পার্টিসিপেশন।
No, the double line means total participation. Single line means partial participation. Okay.
মানে মানে কিছু কিছু মানে ওই পার্ট মানে বাদ চলে যায়, মানে ওই অনেকটা ওই ফাংশনস এর মতো, মানে ওই এ ফাংশন, মানে পুরো
Yeah.
রেঞ্জে পুরো সব করার সাথে কানেক্ট হবে না, তাই তো?
সবকটার সাথে connect. Can you just give me? I'm getting one call. Just give me one second. One second. Yeah. So I was just getting one call. So, now what? Okay. What was your question with functions? You were asking, right? Can you please repeat that?
হ্যাঁ, তার মানে মানে বলছিলাম যে মানে রেঞ্জ আর কোডোমেন্ট এখানে পুরো সেম হয়, মানে প্রত্যেকটা সাথে প্রত্যেকটাই লিংক থাকে, মানে একটাও কিছু ফাঁকা কোনো জিনিস পড়ে থাকবে না, সেটাই তো। সেটাই হচ্ছে তোমার ডাবল লাইন মানে। আর সিঙ্গেল লাইন মানে কোর্সে কিছু এন্টিটি বা ওরকম কিছু জিনিস পড়ে থাকবে যেটার সাথে এনরোল লিংক থাকবে না, তাই তো?
Enroll linked. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's actually a good way of. Yeah, that's a good. That's correct. That's correct. That's a good way of saying it. Really. So, yeah, you're correct. Fine. Now then, what do we have? Using set, it can be represented. Achha, by the way, Ang and Somajit, was this understandable to you? Like what Niket said,
हाँ भैया
ki there may be some courses which might not be participating, like students who might not be completely participating in a few courses. Okay, you get it?
हाँ भैया
हाँ भैया।
Like every student needs to be enrolled. Okay, every student needs to be enrolled in school. Like let's say they must be registered in a school, but that doesn't mean that they have to take all the courses. Do you get it?
हाँ भैया
Fine, let's go. Now the main part is how to draw ER diagrams, which you will find that a story or something will be given to you. So this is the like a flow chart.
भैया क्लास कितने बजे तक चलेगा?
2 hours. Don't worry, I am taking account. Currently, it is 34 minutes. Okay. The class is going on for 34 minutes. You have to wait for 1 hour 26 minutes more. Okay. So see this. This is a student who has a. I think I gave you something like this, right? As a homework for making the ER diagram. So this is the answer to your homework right now. A student may have a student ID, for like first name, a department, a last name, an email, a gender, and a contact. And then a student views lectures. Okay, a student views the timetable, and lectures can have a description, they can have a title, they can have a subject, and lectures will have a lecture ID. And lectures need to be uploaded by the lecturer. Okay, by the way, understand that how I am writing it. See this one dot dot star. Okay, and this one. So lectures needs to be uploaded by the lecturer. Okay, and a lecturer can have a last name, first name, an ID, mail address, contact, subject, and all this. And again, if you remember the timetable will have all these IDs and stuff.
Sir,
And a
gender
gender of lecturer, yeah, that's a good point. Sadly, I don't think the gender of the lecturer is given here, but that could be added here. That could be added. That needs to be added. Okay, good point.
Mhm.
Timetable is assigned by the coordinator. And do we have a gender of the coordinator? Though we don't have the gender of the coordinator as well. So these are the
থাকতেই
stuff
পারে,
that you can.
had it, it is a মানে যাই হোক থাকতে তো হবেই।
It would have been way better if those things were added, right? So that is true. But sadly, currently they are not. But it is what it is right now. So when I gave you the homework last class to Somojit and Angs, please now can you do it? Can you do the homework right now, like after this class? Please try to do it. Okay. Okay, with that, we conclude the part of the ER diagram. Now we can move on to the next part, which is relational algebra. See this. Yeah, relational algebra. So, do you remember the selection operator? Do you remember projection operator? Rename. Okay, I have done selection, projection, and joining operator, right? I've done only those part. Correct?
यूनियन ऑपरेटर
बोलो.
यूनियन ऑपरेटर भी
Union operator as well. Yeah, correct. So now we are going to do way more operators, and we are going to basically repeat what we did last class again. Okay, this is relational algebra. I'm going to move a little bit quickly right now because it will be basically revision for both Niket as well as you guys. So but anywhere, if you guys are having issues or trouble, then just let me know. Okay. So now what do we have? Unary relationships are there, like select and project. If you just move on to here, you will see that this is the selection operator, and I've written that the attribute, the like relationship type is, it is called arity. Do you remember that parity? Parity, this is called arity. Arity means like it is working on how many entities. Okay. So it is working on the entity of, yeah, hello.
भैया थोड़ा आपका आवाज कट गया था, थोड़ा रिपीट कर सकते हो? वो आवाज थोड़ा कट गया था।
Yeah. So I'm saying that this is the sigma, which basically shows the selection operation, and selection operation has an arity. Arity means the number of objects, or not the number of objects, the actual set. It is operated on the number of sets, and it is operated on just it filters the rows, right? It selects the rows, the horizontal lines in a database, in a table. So selection selects the lines. Chalega?
हाँ
Okay. This kind of
স্যার বলছি তোমার
selection.
এই পার্টটা
Yeah.
স্যার
Yeah.
বলছি তোমার এই পার্টটা তোমার গিটহাবে কোন ফাইলের আন্ডারে আছে?
Oh, this part I still haven't uploaded. This is I just made
ও
again.
তাই বলো আমি এখন খুঁজে যাচ্ছি বারবার, যাই হোক ঠিক আছে।
Okay, this is new. I just made it again. All this summarization. Otherwise, if you want to see that this is the lecture slide I used to teach you. This is the same lecture slide. So the relational algebra and all this. Okay. This is the old stuff. This is the new stuff. Okay. Every day things are evolving. Also, I'm evolving. I'm also making new of these files, and these are again slops. Nothing that is unique. These are like they are everywhere in books. Okay. Every popular book you open, you will find all these things in detail. Okay, well detailed. Now let's go. So arity means the number of like the sets or the not even attributes. I can call it that this is operation on rows, the concept of rows. It is not working on both the row as well as the column. Okay, the projection is working on the columns. So this is again unary. The rename, oh by the way, row operation you will probably not get anywhere in your, what do you call this, in your exam. Okay, this is the row operation. Okay, this is the rename. So you won't be getting it much. Now this is again a unary, means it can either rename relations or attributes. Okay, so attributes basically mean the columns. Okay, attribute basically mean the columns. Let me go back here. Yeah, so this is the projection and this is the rename. So and relation basically mean the rows. Okay, after that we have a typical SQL analog. Means suppose I want to show the selection operation, then I can show it using the SQL keyword of where. Okay, understandable? Now if I have the next operator, which is projection, a projection can be showed using the SQL operator of distinct columns. Okay, which is the select operator or the select keyword. Now you will see the rename SQL analog is as or aliases. Okay, now let's go to the select operator. Yeah, MariaDB is based on SQL. MariaDB is just an open source version of SQL. That's it. Okay. Any issues? चलेगा?
ना.
नहीं चलेगा? क्या प्रॉब्लम है?
তুমি
बोलो.
বললে এনি ইস্যুস, আমি বললাম না.
ओ अच्छा अच्छा फाइन. नहीं, उसके बाद मैंने बोला कि नहीं चलेगा, उसके बोला ना, इसलिए देयर इज लाइक ओके, क्या नहीं चलेगा. So now this is the select operator, which is the sigma operator. Remember how to write it? Sigma, then on the subscript you will write the selection condition, and on the table or the number of
Table
rows
name.
that, yeah, the table name or the rows it needs to apply it on. Okay, now this may have, okay, sorry, yeah, this may have, okay, it got changed, whatever. So it may have Boolean conditions and or not. It can have clauses like attribute name, comparison operation, and constant value. If you are not able to understand this thing, what is written, just remember where we selected people with marks greater than 90. So that was what? That was the attribute name, the marks. The comparison operation was greater than, and the constant value was 90. So we are selecting out, like I'm using the word selecting out, but don't use the SQL word select. Okay, we are specifically finding out the people with marks more than 90. So that's there. Next, what do we have? They have applied, this needs to be applied independently to each individual tuple T in the operand. Okay. An example would be the sigma operation done on the D number or the department number 4, and that the salary needs to be greater than 2500, or the department number 5 and the salary needs to be greater than 30,000, which is a very weird condition because you are checking for either people who have more than 2500 salary or more than 30,000 salary from 2 departments. Maybe some people might need this weird combination. Okay, on the table employee. Okay, next we have the select operator. Okay, oh, so we are continuing the select. We are actually continuing the select operator. This is how in the SQL you are going to write select star from R, then where. Remember the
That's
select
correct.
operator is represented by the SQL keyword where, not the select. Remember this. Okay. Yeah. What are you saying? Yeah.
বলছে ওই স্টারটার সিগনিফিকেন্স কি সিলেক্ট স্টার?
Means select all.
ওকে।
See this. Select distinct columns. When we are going to do the projection operator, then only we are going to do the select operation. Okay. Unless and until we are doing this, what do you call this? Projection operator, we are not going to be having some column names here. Okay. Star means select all the columns. Basically, you don't be partial to just selecting a few attributes. You select the whole table, and from the whole table you apply a condition, and that condition is applied with this keyword where, which represent the selection operator sigma. Chalega? Next we have
भैया
the
वहाँ पे
select.
R का मतलब
Yeah.
क्या है?
R means a relation from, or like a table. A relation or a table means the same thing. Okay.
Okay.
Next we have select operator properties. Okay. So we can select multiple, like we can apply selection operator one after the another, and that will not change. Basically, you can apply the first condition selection first and the second condition second, or the second one first, or the second one first and the first one second. Basically, you can change the selection condition. So I am asking for all the students who are boys and have scored more than 90 marks. Or I could say I am asking for all the students who have scored more than 90 marks and are boys. Do you get the point? कि किसके ऊपर क्या लगा रहा हूं मैं? Okay. Then see this fraction of tuples selected by a selection condition. Remember that a selection condition or a select operator only retrieves paths, or let's say a few rows in the database. It will not retrieve all the rows. So it will retrieve a fraction of the rows. Say there are 100 rows, then the selection operator, after it gets applied, say it retrieves only 50 rows. Then the fraction of tuples selected by a selection operation or a selection condition is 0.5. That is 50 by 100, that's half, that's basically 0.5. Okay?
সেটা কেন হয়?
No, this is not like a canohoid. This is like the fraction of rows retrieved by a selection condition. Now understand that the great part. You have a huge database. A huge means like of petabyte database. Okay. You want to find a very minute condition. So to find out that minute condition, you need to pass through that huge database. You need to load it in the RAM, and they need to pass through that database, and it is a very energy intensive task. So before even you write the query, you need to theoretically compute the fraction of tuples that you are going to retrieve from a huge database, because it is very much essential when you're working with big data. Is that understandable?
তো দেখো বিগ ডেটা মানে তার নিশ্চয়ই ভালো র্যাম, ভালো সবকিছুই হবে।
Yeah, of course it will have good RAM, good enough amount of RAM, but it cannot have RAM in terms of petabytes. It can have RAM in terms of terabytes. Okay, but petabyte RAM generally is not possible. So you need to do a lot of optimization in your query, and that's why you are going to get paid in millions for doing this. Okay, so
আচ্ছা
please,
এক মিনিট, এই কোয়েরি লেখার জন্য লোকে মাইনে পায়?
yes.
এটা কে লেখে? ডেটা সায়েন্টিস্ট, ডেটা অ্যানালিস্ট না কে লেখে এটা?
Data analyst, data analyst. Most of the time these are actually data engineers. Okay, they are actually database engineers.
ডেটাবেস ইঞ্জিনিয়ার এরকম কোনো কোর্স হয় মানে ইঞ্জিনিয়ারিং কলেজে?
Yeah, there is a whole course on databases.
ও আচ্ছা, মানে তারাই এত কিছু করে শুধু কোয়েরি লিখবে যাতে কম খরচায়, কম র্যাম খরচায় বা কম কিছু খরচায় আমি যাতে ডেটা রিট্রিভ করতে পারি।
Yes,
ওই
correct.
ওরাকেল থেকে। অবশ্য তুমি আমাকে একদিন বলেও ছিলে ওরাকেল নাকি মানে ডেটা রিট্রিভালের জন্য নাকি অনেক টাকা চার্জ করে, মানে আমি ধরো
Yes,
মানে এফিশিয়েন্টলি করতে হয়।
It has to be done efficiently. If you just go to AWS billing for data upload and retrieval. Let us go for prices. This somewhere here. Let's open. This is a summary, I think. What do we have? This is different, sorry. Difficult to find. I remember that they have this billing cycle and all this, but they have a whole documentation on data transfer charges. Yeah. So let's see. If I can find it quick enough, then I will show it. Otherwise, just understand that it is cheaper to upload data than it is cheaper. Like it is more cost. It is cheaper to upload data than retrieve data. Okay. Just understand that part. If I can find it real quick, then I will show you. Otherwise, this the.
So তুমি কপিরাইট খাবে না এসব দেখাচ্ছে যে?
No, because this is public domain. Na? I won't get any copyright because Amazon needs to show that their pricing. In a way, I'm just basically promoting AWS. Okay. So, or I can just use ChatGPT and I'll get the AWS pricing. What is the AWS pricing for uploading 1 GB data and querying to 1 GB data for 3 months. Let's see if it can find it quickly enough so that yes. Now this is where uploading 1 GB to S3. Okay, by the way, there are different S3, S2 and all those clustering server configurations, but you don't need to know that part. Okay, I'm just showing you the cost. Now, hopefully it has retrieved the exact pricing. See this, assume 1 GB is one very few objects. Cost is about 0.005 per 1000 puts. Okay, how many puts you do? Okay, which is in a single request is negligible. So it is how much? This, okay. Uploading 1 GB data costs almost $0. Okay. Now retrieving 1 GB data. See this. So the rate is about $0.9 per GB. Okay. See the difference. See this difference. Do you get the point? It is cheaper to upload data, which is practically almost free, than it is to retrieve data. And remember, companies do it in terms of terabytes and petabytes. So it always has a multiplier of thousands and lakhs. Okay, so that's why it is like the database engineers, the database administrators, the SQL engineers, they tend to get good salaries for just writing one line. And that one line will cost the company somewhere, let's say that one line, based on that one line, a company can reduce their cost by millions. Okay, that's why it is so much essential to have database engineers who will be writing the appropriate query for the appropriate task. The next thing that we are going to look into is the projection operator. Okay, so this is the projection operator. What does it mean? It basically selects, or let's say it basically projects, or it basically takes a chunk of the main table in form of columns or the attributes. It is not selecting out, or it is not picking out the rows, it is picking out the columns. As you can see, it is represented by pi. By the way, please do not follow the book that or the PDF that I'm showing. Always write the pi in capital pi. Okay, not the small pi. Write it in capital pi, like big block pi. Okay, and on the subscript write the yes, in the summation and that product pi. Yeah, that's continuous product. Yeah, so basically you write it like that. Okay, next, understand that we are going to be selecting out or picking out the columns, which columns we are going to be picking out, or the attributes that we are going to be picking out. And the attributes that we are going to be picking out are the first name, last name, address and salary, from the table employee. Okay, now here comes the SQL query. Oh, sorry, what happened? Just a second. Yes. So here we are going to be having the SQL query, which is this select distinct attribute list. So if you just go back to the markdown, you will see that I've already written select distinct columns. Okay, so we are selecting the distinct attribute list. Okay, where did I keep it now? Yeah, here. Note the need for distinct in SQL. You need to have the keyword distinct. And what does distinct even mean? It basically means unique. That's it. Okay, we are picking out the unique columns in the attribute list. Now, what do we have? There are a few properties of it. The properties are the first property that you need to know is equivalence. What do we mean by equivalence? Equivalence basically means that if you do the projection with the first condition on the main table once and the second condition afterwards, you could just do the second condition. You don't need to do the first condition. Do you get it? As long as all the attributes used by C are in L. So what does it mean? Suppose I just want to see the ages of the people in a ages of the student in a database, or let's say I just want to see the marks or the physics marks of the students in a class. Because I just want to see the physics marks of the students in a class, do I need to retrieve the chemistry marks first? Then can I do a retrieval on the physics marks? No, I can't, because after doing the retrieval on the chemistry marks, I am just going to get the column of the chemistry marks. Okay. Which after that, there is no existence of the data of the physics marks. Do you get it? Means suppose a student has subjects physics, chemistry and mathematics, and I take the idea, or I take his seat, mark sheet, and I just pick out the column of chemistry. And after that, I ask how much marks he got in physics from the column of chemistry. I cannot do that, right? Do you get it? Do you get the concept? हाँ ना बोल दो, ना बोल, अगर ना भी बोलना है तो भी बोल सकते हो. हाँ बोलो. क्या बोला?
तेरा आवाज नहीं आ रहा सही से.
बोल रहा हूँ, फिर से रिपीट कर दीजिए.
हाँ सुन अंश, समझ ले. Imagine that you have physics, chemistry and mathematics. Okay. Now I take your report card. I tear apart your report card and just pick out your chemistry marks. Then I look at the chemistry marks. Then I say, okay, how much marks have you got in physics? From your chemistry marks, will I be able to predict your marks in physics? Can you just tell me? Yes or no?
No.
No, right? So that's why just this is simple common sense that if I tear apart your physics and chemistry marks, then from your physics and chemistry marks, I can tear apart physics, right? This is simple like onion skinning, right? You take out the peels of onions one by one. That's the simple concept. So that's why when you apply projection operator one after the another, you could directly apply the last projection operator on the main table, and that's it. Now the next property is this clear? Is this first property clear? Okay, great. What is the second property? The second property of your projection operator is that you do a selection first and then you do a projection, or if you do a projection first, then you do a selection, it will not matter much. As long as whatever your attributes that are used by your selection condition are there in your projection condition. ये बस सिंपल लॉजिक है. सपोज कि तू पहले सिलेक्ट कर रहा है कुछ रोज को, उसके बाद तू उन रो में से कुछ कॉलम्स को सिलेक्ट कर रहा है. या तो तू उन रो से कॉलम सिलेक्ट कर सकता है, या तो तू पहले कॉलम सिलेक्ट करके फिर रो सिलेक्ट कर सकता है. ठीक है, चलेगा?
ठीक है. हाँ.
ओके. Now the degree, the number of attributes in a projected attribute list, that's the degree of a database or a degree of this projection operator. By the way, in your CBSE exam, remember the questions would be, what do you mean by cardinality of a database, cardinality of a table, cardinality of a relation? Database nahi dega, sorry, I missed out. It will be cardinality of a table. Or you could get, what do you mean by the degree of a table? Okay, fine, chalega. Remember these two questions. These two questions are kind of almost more than 95% common, and they are going to be coming at your exam without any worries, and that's it. Now, what is the equivalent relational algebra expression for all this? Suppose you have a table. Now, here where things get interesting, because you would be able to understand how everything, like this operation and projection and selection are actually working. You will see that this is a table that we have. The name of the table is employee. Remember the name. The name of the table is employee. It will have unique IDs. So ID represent the attribute which could be the primary attribute, okay, or the primary key. Now you will have the name, you will have the S basically means the sex. It will be either be male or female. You will have the department, and you will have the job type. Your job could be faculty, secretary, technician, or again faculty itself. Now what we do, we want to select, or no, we want to get, or we want to retrieve the name, the gender, the department of the employees who are faculty members. Okay, so select the distinct name, gender or S or sex, and the department from employee table where the job type is equal to faculty, and remember to put a semicolon here. In the next class, we will be doing the practical application of, like, we are basically going to be doing SQL live with SQL. We are going to be using MariaDB because I like MariaDB more than SQL because it is open source.
একটা জিনিস বলো, এই যে সেমিকোলন দেওয়ার পর এটা কেন দেখায় গো? কোয়েরি রোজ, জিরো রোজ এফেক্টেড?
Because see, after you do an query, suppose this select query, will this select query change any data that is stored in the database?
চেঞ্জ করবে না।
No, right? But suppose I do an update or alter or drop, then that will change the database, right? Remember, a database, if there are changes in the database, you need to be very careful because the data is very, very sensitive, and you should not be changing the data that is stored inside the database. You get my point, right?
Yeah.
So if you change the data that is stored inside the database, then you are done. Okay. If you do
আচ্ছা,
it
আপনি
not
একদিন
smartly enough, then you are done. Yeah. বল।
তুমি আমাকে একটু ওই যে পাই এর কি বলে, আরে ওর নামটা কি, পাই এর নাম,
Projection
অপারেটর এসকিউএলটা কি কিভাবে লেখে?
projection means select. Yes, no, this is both pi and what do you call this, sigma selection. So select,
সিগমা হচ্ছে from where, এটা তো এই পার্টটা তো সিগমা।
yes, this part is sigma, this part is sigma, this part is projection, projection, and this is from the table.
সেটা ঠিক আছে, ঠিক আছে,
Done. Okay. Somojit
পরীক্ষায় তুমি কেন বলছো যে পাই আর সিগমা লাগাবো, তো সিলেক্ট ওয়্যার হয়ে যাচ্ছে, তাহলে আর পাই আর সিগমা লেখার কি দরকার?
Sometimes in your questions, they ask you to, instead of writing the SQL query, they ask you to write it in relational algebra method. Okay. They directly ask you to write it in sigma and pi. That's the point. Though they haven't done it in the last 2 years, 3 years, they haven't done it in the last 3 years, but they might, because it is there in your syllabus. Okay. They haven't, like, generally they directly ask you with the SQL query, but still, why take the risk? It's not that much difficult to understand. Okay, now let's go. Next, suppose working with long expressions. You are going, if you ever get into this database management now, you will be writing queries which are like probably pages and pages long. Okay, and you need to be very careful while writing those queries. If you mess up that partner, your job and everything will be it will be done. That's it. That's what I'm saying again and again. Be very careful while you are handling big data. Now this is consider this inline expression. So from the employee table, you are selecting out the department 5, and then you are only printing the first name, last name, and the salary. This basically means from the yeah, that's what I just said. I just read this like this selection operator, this relational algebra line. I just read it so that you could understand what it was trying to say. Understandable? Chalega?
Yeah.
Okay. Next, let's go. We have operators from the set theory. We have union, intersection, and difference. Let's go back to here. There is going to be Cartesian product, theta join, natural join, and all this Cartesian product, theta join, and natural join. Last day, I did the natural join in class. We shall go through it, but not that much. But थोड़ा बहुत तो कर ही लेंगे. देखते हैं. Union क्या करता है? It basically combines the sets or combines the tables together and it removes the duplicates. Okay. And remember, this is a binary operator. After this, this selection, projection, rename. Oh, by the way, rename. The rename operation, I don't know if they showed it here or not. Cross product operator. Yeah, renaming operator. Let's go with the rename ones. Okay. Oh, by the way, when you do a rename operator, it won't show that 0 rows affected or anything. It will show that rows were affected. Okay, because you're renaming a whole attribute or a
রিনেম করাইনি
rename করায়নি ঠিক আছে আমি দেখিয়ে দিচ্ছি. It's not like that difficult. You basically rename a relation or you rename an attribute. So if you want to rename a relation, you do that row S then R. Okay. Suppose you want to like pair upper year students with freshmen. Okay. You want to do this pairing. Then you basically do mentor. Okay. You call them mentor. So you rename the senior class people as mentor. Okay. This is a Cartesian product that they have done. We will get into it. Just give me some second. We are going to get into that. Now you can do renaming over the columns or you can do it over the rows. Okay. So you can do over renaming on any of those two parts. Okay. That is there. Now after that we have group and aggregate. Okay, group and aggregation I shall show. I don't think it is there. Do we have it? Division operator. Yeah, I probably don't think we have. Yeah, we don't have groups. Fine, let's continue with this PPT. I used this PPT last time. I'm going to use it right now as well. So let's continue. See this. We have union operator. Union operator basically takes two columns, not columns, take two tables and it merges the stuff together which are without any duplication. Okay. And intersection basically takes the common attributes and yeah, it takes the common attributes and it includes all the tuples that are both in A and B or R and S. Okay. Like suppose a table contains student ID, student name and their marks, and another table contains student ID, student name and their attendance. Then if I do an intersection, Somojit, what we are going to get? Can you tell me? Somojit, can you tell me what we are going to get?
Not sure.
Suppose I have a table with student ID, student name, and I also have their marks, and I have another table with student ID, student name, and their attendance and their sick leave or anything. Okay. So if I do an intersection operation on those two tables, what am I going to get? Can you tell me? That's the issue. Let me check the stream. And their attendance and their sick leave or anything. Okay, yeah, the stream is going good. So yeah, any hints? Somajit, do you understand the question?
नहीं क्वेश्चन समझ आया लेकिन
सोचो ना, दोनों में
आंसर
कॉमन क्या
लॉन्ग
है? दोनों टेबल में कॉमन क्या है, तुम ये बोलो। एक में जो स्टूडेंट का नाम है, आईडी है, दूसरे में जो है और उसके साथ उसका मार्क्स है, और दूसरे में स्टूडेंट नाम है, आईडी है, उसके साथ उसका अटेंडेंस है। दोनों टेबल में कॉमन क्या है? व्हाट इज द थिंग दैट इज कॉमन?
नाम और आईडी
Very good. That's the only thing. That's how intersection works. It picks out the common attributes between the two tables. Okay. Fine, chalega. And there is this
हाँ
difference. Difference wala. Okay. There is this difference. What do I mean by difference operation? Suppose I have. Let's take the same example. Now Angs will answer. See, I have this table where student name, student ID, and their marks is given, and I have student name and student ID and their attendance is given. So A minus B, first table minus second table. मेरा आंसर क्या होगा? मेरा आंसर क्या होगा? Do you get the question?
हाँ भैया।
Yeah, so then what would be the answer? क्वेश्चन समझ में आया या फिर से बोलूं?
फिर से एक बार रिपीट करो।
मेरे पास एक टेबल है जिसमें स्टूडेंट नेम, स्टूडेंट आईडी और उन स्टूडेंट्स का सब्जेक्ट्स है, फिजिक्स, केमिस्ट्री, मैथमेटिक्स। और मेरे पास दूसरा टेबल है जिसमें स्टूडेंट नेम, स्टूडेंट आईडी और उसका अटेंडेंस है। तो मैं अगर पहले टेबल से दूसरा टेबल माइनस कर दूं तो क्या मेरा आंसर क्या होगा?
सब्जेक्ट होगा और अटेंडेंस।
सब्जेक्ट होगा और अटेंडेंस। आई एम आस्किंग दिस अगेन. ओके, इफ आई हैव a table with student name, student ID, and marks, and I have another table with student name, student ID, and their attendance. I subtract the table student name, student ID, and attendance from the table having student name, student ID, and marks. What would be the remaining stuff? भाई मैं तुझको अगर क्रेयॉन्स दूं, उसके साथ साथ मैं तुझको फूल दूं, मैं जो है एक और सेट दे रहा हूँ जिसमें जो है क्रेयॉन्स है और जो है कुछ क्या बोले, कुछ कॉटन है। और अगर मैं तेरे एक से दूसरा माइनस कर दूं तो क्या बचेगा भाई? तेरे पहले हाथ में क्रेयॉन्स थे और कुछ क्या बोलते हैं, फूल थे या फिर कुछ भी थे, जो भी हो, क्रेयॉन्स माइनस हो जाता है ना। मैं जो कॉमन चीज़ है वो माइनस कर देना। तो माइनस करने के बाद जो पहले टेबल में क्या रहेगा, उसमें मार्क्स थे, तो मार्क्स तो रह जाएंगे, राइट? ओनली द मार्क्स विल रिमेन। दैट इज द डिफरेंस ऑपरेटर। इज इट अंडरस्टैंडेबल या कि कुछ प्रॉब्लम हो रहा है डिफरेंस में?
नहीं समझ गया भैया।
ठीक है,
लेकिन
सोमोजित
ये
समझ।
अटेंडेंस कर दिया लेकिन
हाँ
अटेंडेंस कर दिया
कुछ नहीं भाई, यहाँ पे लिखा है इंक्लूड ऑल द टपल्स दैट आर इन आर बट नॉट इन एस. ओके,
ओह सॉरी सॉरी
next what do we have? We have the cross product operator, which is basically your Cartesian product operator. It will basically do all the permutation and combination possible. Hopefully you have done permutation and combination in your class 11, 10, class 10, 11 में तो किया ही होगा. So what you do, you basically take the first
सर 10 ए परम्यूटेशन कॉम्बिनेशन पढ़ा ना
है ना? Oh yeah, class 11. Sorry.
11
I forgot. Class 11. Bro, I'm old. Okay. मेरा उम्र हो रहा है. So now what is this? CS 338 Jones Spring. उसके साथ जो है TA Ashley and CS. You just take this row and this row, make a new row, and then you take again the first row and the second row, you make a new row. You know the Cartesian product, right? You know Cartesian product, yes or no?
हाँ
You guys, so that's how you do it. It's basically cross product, and you know how it works.
পরীক্ষা দিলে পরীক্ষায় করতে যেতে ল্যাব লাগবে বাবা।
পড়তে হবে ভাই, কিছু করার নেই। Next, we have the join operator. So join operator, let's directly
আচ্ছা
go to the
এক মিনিট
example.
স্যার,
Yeah.
তোমাকে একটা
হুম,
জিনিস বলো, বলছি
হুম।
ন্যাচারাল জয়েন আর ইউনিয়নের মধ্যে কি এটাই তফাৎ যে ইউনিয়নে ডুপ্লিকেট থাকে আর ন্যাচারাল জয়েনে ডুপ্লিকেট থাকে?
ন্যাচারালি কি থাকে?
বলছি ইউনিয়ন আর ন্যাচারাল জয়েনের মধ্যে কি এটাই তফাৎ যে ইউনিয়নে ডুপ্লিকেট গুলো থাকে না আর ন্যাচারাল জয়েনে ডুপ্লিকেট থাকে?
Actually, good question. Both do contain, both will not contain. Okay, no, it will contain. No, it can contain duplicates. Let me think.
না না
Join.
না, ন্যাচারাল জয়েন can contain duplicates.
No, I'm talking about union. Union will not contain duplicate. Union can never
Union
contain
থাকবে না?
duplicate. Yeah, I'm
আর
thinking about
ন্যাচারাল জয়েন?
natural join, right? So there can be A1 and you could have A1 there as well. Okay. So if you do a natural join, it will that's a very good, like, how would you say that you're counting your duplicates? If you're counting like each and every row, then each and every row will be column bol raha hu, sorry. Each and every row will be unique. Okay.
আচ্ছা ঠিক আছে, আমি ন্যাচারাল জয়েন পড়াও দেখছি।
Each and every column, each and every row will be unique. Uh, but mm, but yeah, but there might be conditions where your like set of columns might be duplicates. Okay, but each row will be unique. So if we go by the definition of rows, then natural join will not contain any duplicates. Okay, fine. Let's go and see.
ডুপ্লিকেটসটা বলে ওটা কার টার্মসে বলে, রো না কলম?
Union, oh, acha, huh? Union, we always call that it does not contain any duplicates in terms of rows. If that is the case, then natural join by definition will not contain any duplicates. Okay,
আচ্ছা
but there is a, like, if you take again partition of columns, then it might contain duplicates. That's the point. Okay, so that's a different thing. But yeah, if you are considering it the same definition, then it will not contain duplicates. Now let's go. This one. Okay, natural join. Somojit and Akash kya bol raha hu? Sorry, Angs. Do you remember anything? Anything that happened in last class? Natural join. I remember I made Somojit do a natural join in front of me.
हाँ आई थिंक थोड़ा बहुत याद है।
So can you explain what is a natural join?
एक्सप्लेन
Can you explain what is a natural join? बोलो.
एक्सप्लेनेशन वो आ रही है, वो याद नहीं, प्रॉपर एक्सप्लेनेशन नहीं आ रहा है उसमें।
Okay. But if I do a natural join, will you be able to do it?
थोड़ा बहुत भूल चुका हूँ बट हाँ कर सकते हैं।
Okay, let's go to the natural join once again. Suppose this is CS department, this is their curriculum number, this is the instructor, this is the term or the term that they will be serving. TA means teaching assistant, this is Ashley, and CS is our major. Now when you do a natural join where you take the course and the TA, you basically do the course, write this, and then you do the TA, but you basically do the natural join through the through the department equals to major. So you will see that there is a department course, like in the course table you have an attribute which is termed as department, and in the TA you will see an attribute which is termed as major. So wherever the department is equal to the major, you will be writing that row. So for the first row, you will see that first two rows you will have CS and CS. The TA has this CS, that is the only Ashley. So you will basically copy this department, CNAM, instructor and term. you pasted this same thing, and you will have Ashley as the TA assigned to it with the major. Department and major needs to be the same. The next thing would be again CS and Ashley. This is the 330 with Smith and Winter. You will see the Smith and Winter, but again Ashley. Okay. But then again we have stats. So stats, you will just write the stats column name, sorry, stats row. And you will just check that where is the stats major. That's Lee having the stats major. So this is how you do a natural join. You need to find out the equality or whatever be the condition that is given in the joining. So the natural join will have some condition, and whenever the condition matches, you basically copy paste the rows appropriately. Is this understandable? कोई problem है? सोमोजी तुम बोलो, कोई problem है क्या?
नहीं
नहीं चलेगा? Okay. Then what do we have here? After that, we need to do a join selectivity. Remember that just a few moments ago, we talked about the fraction of columns or the fraction of rows retrieved by projection operator, or the fraction of rows retrieved by the selection operator. Do you remember that? So again, there will be a fraction of number of tuples. Tuples means rows, right? Tuples basically mean rows, but remember, when you will grow up a little bit more into your BTech or whatever curriculum that you choose, if it has a data science or a database course, they will tell you the difference between tuples and rows, because there is a very minute difference, but you won't understand it at this point. But yeah,
স্যার বলছি টাপল কেন কনসিডার করছে না? আমি তো রোটাকে তো আপডেটও করতে পারি, তো টাপল হলে তো আপডেট করতে পারবো না।
that is for Python. That is for Python.
ও আচ্ছা।
Okay, you don't mismatch the definitions that we learn in Python into the definitions we learn in databases. Okay, be very careful. Now, just like that, we can have a this natural join. We can find out the fraction. So this is what this is basically a multiplication. So r times the r basically means the cardinal. Here you will see that mod operation. So the cardinality means the number of tuples in your r, and the cardinality of s means the number of tuples in s. And the joining condition, you are joining through a condition C. So you find out. So see, you could have 3 cross 2. 3 cross 2 would be 6, right? But instead, you are after you do a joining operation, you have 3 rows or 3 tuples, right? So it is 3 divided by 6. Means it could have been 6, but it is not 6, it is 3. So it is 0.5. So it is retrieving 0.5 fraction of tuples. Is that understandable? चलेगा या कुछ problem है? Okay. Next we have this is the natural join operation. We did the join operator. This is the natural one. So the natural one will again see. Do we have? Yeah. Who has taken a course taught by Anderson? Now this is the query that needs to be written. Okay. See, there is a student table which has Smith and Brown. There is a course which is Intro to Computer, Data Science and Discrete. There is a section, there is a grade report, and there is a prerequisite. The question is, who has taken a course taught by Anderson? So first we are going to look for Anderson. So who is Anderson here? We can find Anderson somewhere in the section, right? You will find Anderson as an instructor. So instructor, you will go here. It has so the course that was taken by Anderson is CS1310. Now the point is, where is that course? CS1310. This is the course, and the point is, who has taken this course? Let's see. It has 4 and the department is CS. See this one. Smith and Brown. So they have the major CS and the student number is 17 and 18. Class is 1 and 2. Sorry. Do we have anything else? No, we do not have anything else. So we can take that the department of CS, these people are having the majors. So you will see we need to do, we can't actually figure it out at this point. So, see, even if I do recursively, we can't figure it out that both of them took the course by Anderson or one of them took the course by Anderson. Do you get the problem that I'm facing or I'm trying to solve? When I'm going to Anderson, I'm seeing like year, then fall, then semester, then section identifier. Then I'm going to CS, section identifier, then I go to the course number, I see that, okay, this is the course, but then I see that the students who might have taken the course, there is nothing to relate with. How do I find out the student name or which of the students who have taken the course by Anderson? Is the question even clear at this point? Is the question clear? Niket, is the question clear? Yes or no?
না 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 সেটাই তো আমি বলতে যাচ্ছি না
মানে কোয়েশ্চেনটা ক্লিয়ার নয়?
না
Okay, I want you to try finding it. Okay, who has taken a course by Anderson?
কি এতক্ষণ ধরে যে কি বলছিলাম আমি সেই বুঝতে পারছি অ্যান্ডারসন এই
Okay. The question is who has taken a course by Anderson? Who means a student? Is it Smith? Is it Brown? Or like both of them have taken a course? This is the question. Okay, this is a question that I'm asking. And I'm giving you the data.
আচ্ছা
Can you find out who are the students who have taken the course by Anderson? Anderson is the name of a professor. See this, instructor. Okay.
আচ্ছা
Can you find it out? Can you find it out? I'm asking you the question. I'm giving you the whole slide here. Zoom in, look into the names, and try to find out who has taken a course by Anderson.
দাঁড়াও
Yeah, I'm staying here. Somajit and
ব্রাউন বলছে তাই তো
Anks, try the question as well. Try the question, try.
আচ্ছা এক মিনিট দাঁড়াও তুমি আমাকে একটা জিনিস বলো এই যে সবকটা অপারেশন করে ফাইনাল টেবিল কোনটা এই যে অপারেশনটা যে লাগিয়েছে এখানে পাই প্রজেকশনটা যে লাগিয়েছে
Oh, that is the answer. That is the answer. Do not look into that. Do not look into that. That is the answer. It is the answer. Basically, the answer is given in front of you. I'm asking you, can you do it without doing join operation? Can you just look into the tables and find out? That's my question.
আচ্ছা আচ্ছা দাঁড়াও সেকশন আইডেন্টিফায়ার
Angs, Somajit, you also try. Keep on.
তুমি বলছো স্মিথ আর ব্রাউনের মধ্যে কে অ্যান্ডারসনের কোর্স নিয়েছে তাই তো
Yes, is it one of them, both of them? That's my question.
Brown.
And how? What's your logic?
The grade report, the section identifier 92.
92, okay. And
एंडरसन का भी वो होता है 92 है तो उसके बाद में स्टूडेंट नंबर इज 8
student number is 8 and 8 and then student number 8 is Brown.
Brown.
Correct. Ekdam correct. But did you use the formula there? Like the answer is there in front of you, but did you use it or were you going through the grade card and using logic?
I use logic to be honest.
Okay, if you have used logic, then you know how to find out. Okay, so the point is, how do we find it out? See, I try to look at Anderson, I try to look at course, I try to look at the course number, but then I can't find it. So then I have to look to Anderson again. Then I look to year 7. Okay, year 7. Where can I find year 7? Sadly, I can't use this year. Semester is fall. Can I use this fall any other table? No, I can't. Can I use the course number? I just tried using the course number. Can I use the section identifier? This is 92, which is interesting. Because I can use the section identifier on the grade report. Now, if I go to the section identifier and I will find that, okay, there is a grade which is A, but I can't find a student with the A, and A is a very common thing. So both of them might have gotten A. But there is this student number, which is A. And that's where I get it. This is the student number. Now the point is, this was like a logical flow and looking at the database and going through it. Point is, how do you write it? You do a natural join of the student, the grade report, and the courses. Remember, I'm looking at student, I'm looking at the courses and the grade report. I do a natural join, and after doing a natural join, I'm looking for the name, course, number, semester, and year. Okay.
না না কিন্তু আমাকে একটা জিনিস বলো, আমি তো না প্রজেকশন অপারেটর টেবিলটা বানালাম, কিন্তু ফাইনালি আমার লাইক অ্যান্ডারসনের কাছে এক্স্যাক্টলি কে পড়ে তার জন্য আমাকে তো সিগমা অপারেটর লাগাতে হবে না, যে তার জন্য স্টুডেন্ট নাম্বার এত বা অ্যান্ডারসনের সেকশন আইডেন্টিফায়ার। আমি এটা দিয়ে কিছু বলতেই পারবো না, আমাকে সেই লিংকিং খুঁজতে হবে।
লিংকিং খুঁজতে হবে এখানে তো দেখ, লাইক হাউ ইজ ইট রিটেন? The sigma operation is done firstly with instructor equal to Anderson, which is in the section table. You find the section table and you do the Anderson. Then you do this natural join and you do the projection. Okay.
আচ্ছা, ওকে। না আমি বলছিলাম ধরো প্রজেকশনটার পরেও আমি যদি এবার সিগমা লাগাই where select identifier equal to 92, তাহলে তুমি ডাইরেক্টলি অ্যান্ডারসনের স্টুডেন্টটা পেয়ে যাও, স্টুডেন্ট নাম্বার
select identifier
select
হ্যাঁ
ওই রকম আর কি, select
section identifier equal to 95.
হ্যাঁ সিগমা, তাহলে তো এক্স্যাক্টলি আমি রাউন্ড পেয়ে যাব না?
Yes, but these are separate tables. I got your point. But these are separate tables. Okay.
না সেপারেট টেবিল কেন? সেপারেট টেবিল কেন? দেখো গ্রেড রিপোর্ট আমি তো জানি যে অ্যান্ডারসনের তোমার সেকশন আইডেন্টিফায়ার হচ্ছে 92, তো আমি গ্রেড রিপোর্টে যখন এই জিনিসটা পেলাম তাহলে আমি গ্রেড লিখতেই পারি যে সিলেক্ট সেকশন আইডেন্টিফায়ার ফ্রম গ্রেড রিপোর্ট where section identifier is 92, আর আমি তো
okay, I get you. Listen. This thing that you are saying that you got that it is 92, you looked into it, right? Suppose your huge data बहुत बड़ा है, ठीक है, पेटाबाइट का देता है, तब तो तुम ऐसे देख नहीं सकते, right? Then you need to basically club the tables together. Yes, the only answer is doing natural join. You need to do the joining operation.
ন্যাচারাল জয়েন করলে আমি ডাইরেক্ট তোমাকে একটা জিনিস বলো, আমার যদি আমি গ্রেড রিপোর্ট থেকে কি করে বুঝবো যে ব্রাউন এগ পড়ে? তাহলে আমাকে তো সেই ডেটাবেসটাকে দেখতে হচ্ছে, আমাকে স্টুডেন্ট দেখতে হচ্ছে, কোর্স দেখতে হচ্ছে, সেকশন দেখতে হচ্ছে, প্রেরিকুইজিটটা কোনোভাবে লাগেনি বলে দেখতে হচ্ছে না, সেই তো দেখতে হচ্ছে। এবার আমার কাছে তোমার কাছে আমার তোমাকে আমি সেম কোশ্চেনটা করছি, যদি ধরো মানে বিশাল বড় ডেটা থাকে আমি কি করে খুঁজবো এখন বসে বসে?
That's the point. You don't look at the data, you look at the attributes. Okay, you look at the attributes which are common among the different tables. You look at the attributes which are common among the different tables, then theoretically first sketch out what joining operation can you do, in what order can you do. Remember, joining operation is not commutative, means student join grade report will not be equal to grade report join students. Okay, so you need to understand that in which order you are doing the joining and what selection that you are doing, and after the selection you are retrieving something. From that, whatever you are retrieving, how do you basically find out the exact student name or the course and whatever the details like you want. Okay, projection ke baad projection karbe to tujhe jo chahiye you will get it, but which tables you need to join, you need to look at the attributes, not at the data. That's why मतलब यहाँ पे मैं बोल रहा हूँ कि डेटाबेस इंजीनियर्स का सैलरी इतना
তুমি
ज्यादा
আমাকে
क्यों
একটা
है?
জিনিস বলো,
हाँ,
তুমি আমাকে একটা জিনিস বলো, তুমি গ্রেড এক পেছনে যাও ওই আগেরটা
that's it, yeah.
তোমাকে বলো তুমি গ্রেড রিপোর্ট দেখে কি ডাইরেক্টলি বুঝতে পারছো? তুমি বাকিগুলো ছেড়ে দাও, গ্রেড রিপোর্ট দেখে তুমি ডাইরেক্টলি বুঝতে পারছো ব্রাউন যে অ্যান্ডারসনের কাছে পড়ে?
No, you can't. You cannot just look at grade report and say that Brown is the actual answer.
তাহলে আমার তুমি আমাকে বলো, তাহলে আমার ন্যাচারাল জয়েন করে লাভটা কি হলো? আমাকে
Because
সেই পুরো ডেটা দেখতে হচ্ছে,
no, see,
সেই বুঝতে পারছি না।
okay, fine. See, look at this. You need to join. Which tables do you need to look at? My first question. Which 3 tables or 4 tables you need to look at?
স্টুডেন্ট কোর্স সেকশন।
Student, course, section. Don't you need to look at the grade report?
আচ্ছা হ্যাঁ হ্যাঁ, গ্রেড রিপোর্টও লাগবে।
So, what are the things that you need to look at? Student, course, section,
Course.
and grade report. Do you need to look at the prerequisite? Yes or no?
না, প্রিরেকুইজিট লাগবে না।
Good. Okay. Now, how do you
Prerequisite
find Anderson? Anderson is an instructor. So, you can use the selection operator to find Anderson from section. Right?
হ্যাঁ 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 হ্যাঁ।
Very good. Fine. Now, you need to find the like exact course number, but you know that in the student table, does the course number attribute exist? See
No.
this thing.
নেই।
This course
No, no,
number,
no.
does it exist? No. I'm not
No.
even looking at the data. I'm looking at the course number. So it doesn't
হ্যাঁ
exist.
না নেই।
What
No, no,
exists
no.
is this section identifier. Section identifier exists in grade report. And
Right.
from the grade report, we get the student number. So section identifier and student number are there. So basically, I can do a join over this section identifier, right? I can do a join over the section identifier where the
Okay.
instructor is Anderson,
হ্যাঁ
ঠিক
হ্যাঁ
है?
হ্যাঁ, ঠিক ঠিক।
and from this section identifier, I can join. Sorry, section student number. I can join the student.
হ্যাঁ হ্যাঁ হ্যাঁ, ওকে ঠিক আছে, বুঝেছি। ওকে, ডান ডান ডান।
But did I ever look into the data? No, I looked at the attributes. Okay,
হ্যাঁ হ্যাঁ হ্যাঁ, ঠিক ঠিক আছে, ওকে।
it's fine.
লাইক
আরে
আমাকে
ভাই,
করার আগে অনেকবার মানে ভাবতে হবে, এটাই হচ্ছে ব্যাপার। মানে অনেকবার বুঝে শুনে করতে হবে।
yes, you do need to think about this a little bit at least. Okay.
তার মানে তুমি আমাকে একটা কথা বলো, একটা ডেটাবেস আমি যখন এত কোয়েরি লিখছি,
Hmm.
তো বারবার তো আমাকে কেটে 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 লাইক আমি তো একবারে পুরো ফুললি এফিশিয়েন্টলি বার করতে পারবো না, না রিট্রাইভ করতে পারবো না, মানে আমাকে তো বারবার কাটতে হবে। তো স্কুলের পরীক্ষায় আমি মানে একবারে কি করে বার করবো, মানে কত কমপ্লিট দেবে না।
Yeah, you in school exam it won't be that much complex. So don't worry.
ওকে,
Even join will be rarely coming. Rarely. Okay.
আচ্ছা আচ্ছা।
So
না
don't
না,
worry.
ন্যাচারাল জয়েন আমাদের করিয়েছে, প্র্যাকটিক্যাল ক্লাসে করিয়েছে, তাই বললাম।
But it will come up in your exams very rarely. So don't worry. That's what I'm saying. Okay. Next is the division operator. Division operator is very simple. Okay. You basically take the attributes of one particular table and just say that they must be a subset of the another table. Okay. So suppose let's directly see the example. You will see. See, there is this works. Works mein kya hai? Enum and penum. I don't know what this means. Maybe some employee number and the project number. So critical. The projects which are at critical condition. Works divided by critical means, are the works, this thing, a subset of critical? Okay. See this. Used to यहाँ पे देखो. Attributes of S must be a subset of the attributes of R. So if I say that attribute of R divided by S, it basically means attribute of R minus attribute of S. T in tuple R divided by S if and only if T cross S is a subset of R. Maybe this particular mathematics makes no sense to you. Just look at this. This is a table works which has two attributes, enum and penum. Now this is a table critical which has only two attributes, P15 and P10. Look here, P15 and P10. These are the two. Oh, there is another one. Oh, there is another one. So there is a repetition in P now. That is fine. Don't worry. Then you can do one thing. You can just divide the works table with the critical table to find out the enum. Okay. Do you get it? So if I divide it, that means 15, that is E45, will be written. P10, that is E35, will be written. P10, which is E45, that will be written. P15, which is E35, that will be written. Is the division clear?
हाँ
Chalega?
हाँ भैया हाँ
This is the inverse of cross products. Okay. Now after all this thing, we still haven't done the theta join, and yeah, we haven't done the theta join. It's fine.
কথা বলো সবকটাই আছে রিলেশনাল যেগুলো এই
No,
সবকটা
you don't have. You don't really have everything. You don't even have like you have group by, but okay, group by is basically when you do a aggregate. Okay, you group by a particular category. Say there are categories of movies, like movie maybe horror movie. So you try to group by the horror movie genre. Okay, is that fine? So these attributes are there, but they are वही उतना ज़रा ज़रूरी नहीं है. They don't. If you want to crack your exam, you don't need to read that much. Okay, I'm just giving all these stuffs to you for you to understand. Now these are the last part which I would like to discuss, which is from operator. Which operator names? These are SQL keywords. Okay, today we will just look at a few of these SQL keywords, and in the next class we shall be actually working on working with this. Okay, and just give me a second. Yeah, hello. I shall call you within the next 30 minutes. Okay. Now let's continue. So form this keyword in SQL chooses the table or the sources or the relations or the joins. Okay. An example would be from anime, a join studios S basically select on a dot studios ID equal to S dot studio ID. Okay. Can you understand what it just did? See. From the anime, okay, from anime be the name of a table, you are doing a join with studios, and you are basically how you are joining this thing. Okay, anime studio ID equal to some S, like S studio ID, S be another table. Okay, I think I should have written this S or S somewhere. Think I did it in DBMS. I gave the example here, I remember. Yeah, this one. By the way, to everyone who is there, remember that there in the GitHub repository, I have a whole PDF on database. Okay, like how do you even
আগে দিয়েছি অনেক বছর অনেক দিন আগে
অনেক বছর আগে. Okay, fine.
Like
In the database table, it also shows how to install a database. Okay. By the way, Somojit and Anks, this was made for Arch Linux. So these commands that you are seeing, these commands are specifically designed for Arch. But after this thing, after you basically install MariaDB through Windows installer and all this, this pacman, after this pacman, this part, from this part you can use anything, like probably except this sudo is a specific Linux command.
স্যার একটা জিনিস বলো উইন্ডোজে তো উইন্ডোজ কমান্ড প্রম্পট আছে ওখানে তাই লিখলে এগুলো চলবে না
No, you in the Windows command prompt you have to directly write MariaDB install db and all this. Okay, not the sudo, except the sudo. So it's fine if you are struggling. I shall add more sections to the notes for Windows users. Okay. So I still again recommend you guys to shift to any form of Linux because it helps you in in understanding a lot of things. Okay, but it's fine if you are not comfortable enough. It's totally fine. The main part is that after all these things are done, you go to this creating and managing users and privileges. Okay, from section 10 of this PDF, you should start reading on how to create databases with command line. Okay, show tables, describe table, how to create a database, how to create tables, how do you manipulate table, how do you update a table, how do you rename a table, how do you query a table. Okay, why is it that, okay, OBS disconnect.
তোমার কথাটা মানে কেটে গেছিল।
Yeah, মাঝখানে কেটে গেছে। Somehow okay. Yeah, somehow I got disconnected once. That's why. Okay, it is still going on. Somehow in between I got disconnected. Fine. I'm back. So let's go back here. Now, this let's actually already it's more than the time. I should not take too much time of you guys. So let's wrap it up here. Okay. We shall do the SQL part in the next class. Is that fine? Today आज के लिए बस relational algebra इतना तक रखते हैं.
हाँ
ठीक है या फिर और करना है तो बोलो. If you guys are excited, you want to do more, let me know.
नहीं भैया
You
इतना ही रखते हैं।
अच्छा ठीक है इतना ही रखते
इतना
हैं.
ही रहने देते हैं।
ठीक है ठीक है. चलो आज के लिए इतना ही. और मैं then I'm just ending the live stream right now. Okay. Just I'm ending it. Yeah.